evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha television, your perfect stop for the day's top stories. I'm Ashwara Kapoor and here are the headlines. India to skip the Belt and Road Forum meeting in Beijing. Government cites concerns on the China-Pakistan economic corridor. Two civilians killed and 3 others injured in shelling by Pakistan in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajya district. Over 100 people migrate to safer places from 5 villages near the line of control. Over 100 countries, including India, hit by a massive cyber attack. Experts claim the attack was carried out with the help of cyber weapons stolen from the US's National Security Agency. And Pakistan prepares strategy to defend its position on the Kulbush and Jadhav case. Attorney General Ashtar also to represent his country before the International Court of Justice. Our top story this evening, India will skip the Belt and Road Forum in China that begins from tomorrow due to its concerns on the China-Pakistan economic corridor. It is noteworthy that CPEC is part of China's One Belt, One Road project, which is the theme of this summit. Apart from Bhutan, remember, India is the only country in South Asia which has not signed any agreement on Chinese President Xi Jinping's ambitious OBOR project. Preparations are on for the high-profile Belt and Road Summit that begins from Sunday in Beijing. Topping the agenda is the China's OBOR, or the One Belt, One Road project. OBOR seeks to connect Asia with Europe and even Africa on the way with a network of roads, ports, railways and other infrastructure projects. Leaders have started arriving in the Chinese capital for the 2-day summit that will be attended by 29 heads of state and government, including Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, Russian President Vladimir Putin. The US delegation will be led by White House advisor Matt Pottinger. However, in a snub to China, India has decided to skip the meet in view of sovereignty concerns related to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC. While there is no official word, news agencies reported that India will not take part in the meet. CPEC is the Pakistan arm of OBOR that goes through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. It is then not surprising that Pakistan is expected to take center stage during the summit. Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is leading the largest delegation with 4 chief ministers and 5 federal ministers.
Pakistan has a very important role to play in the summit, because CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, is the flagship, the pilot project, and it is the most successful initiative under the One Belt, One Road. So we feel that our role will be very important.
Apart from world leaders, over 80 leaders of international organizations are also attending the summit, including UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, World Bank Group President Jim Yong Kim, and the Managing Director of IM, Christine Lagarde. While India is skipping the meet, China managed to rope many other nations, even those that have various disputes with it, including South Korea, the EU, and Japan. US also decided to send in a delegation at the last minute after the two sides clinched a lucrative trade agreement. Analysts say OBOR is China's economic tool aimed at spreading its influence across continents and stretching its military capabilities.
我们也欢迎各方都来参与“一带一路”国际合作高峰论坛。根据我掌握的情况，美国总统特别助理、白宫国安会亚洲事务高级主任波廷杰将率团。
India's decision to give the summit a miss came after a year of bilateral discord over a number of issues, including China's opposition to India's entry into the NSG and a UN ban against Pakistan-based terrorist group Jaish-e-Mohammed leader Masood Azhar, as well as opposition over the Dalai Lama's Arunachal Pradesh visit. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And back home, at least 2 people, including a teenage girl, were killed in a ceasefire violation by Pakistan on Saturday along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajya district. Meanwhile, the authorities have also ordered a closure of over 50 schools for an indefinite period in the district due to the firing from the neighbouring side. Now, this is the 3rd ceasefire violation along the Indo-Pak Pak border in Jammu and Kashmir in the past 3 days.
Pakistani troops resorted to heavy shelling along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajya district on Saturday, killing 2 civilians and injuring 3 in a fresh ceasefire violation. The victims included a 13-year-old girl. Pakistan used long-range 120mm mortar shells and automatic weapons to target Indian positions. The shelling affected 5 to 6 hamlets along the line of control, including Sheri Makeri, Namakdali, Jangad, Lam, Bhavani and Khamba belts.
हैवी शेलिंग रिपोर्ट की गई है। सुबह से 2 लोगों की डेथ हुई है और 3 इंजर्ड हैं, जिसमें से एक क्रिटिकली इंजर्ड को जम्मू रेफर किया। अभी हमने 4 रिलीफ कैंप एस्टैब्लिश किए हैं और 26 आइडेंटिफाइड हैं। अगर ज्यादा इवैक्यूएशन हमें करनी पड़ती है, शेलिंग जब कम होती है, तो और लोगों को इवैक्यूएट किया जाएगा।
दहशत का माहौल है। इतनी जब शेलिंग होती है, इतनी हैवी शेलिंग, तो हमने मतलब करगिल के टाइम भी जब शेलिंग होती थी तब भी इतनी शेलिंग नहीं हुई है।
Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti condemned the attack.
It's very unfortunate जो नौशहरा में पिछले कई दिनों से फायरिंग हो रही है। पहले एक लेडी की डेथ हो गई, फिर दूसरी आज और डेथ्स हो गई हैं इस वक्त। ये अफसोस की बात है और मैंने हमेशा से हमारा एक मानना है कि जंग और कन्फ्रंटेशन इस तरह से गोलाबारी से सबसे ज़्यादा नुकसान जो होता है हमारी रियासत का होता है, हमारे लोगों का होता है।
Following a series of ceasefire violations, the administration shut down nearly 50 schools along the border in Nowshera for an indefinite period. People were asked not to move out in border areas. The escalation of tension also led to migration of people from various places to safer areas.
एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने अपनी तरफ से 30 रिलीफ कैंप यहाँ रखे हैं, जहाँ लगभग अब 2-3 हजार लोगों को अकोमोडेट कर सकते हैं। हेल्थ फैसिलिटीज वहाँ प्रोवाइड की गई हैं, राशन है, लाइटिंग का सारा है, सैनिटेशन, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, हर एक चीज फैसिलिटी हमने प्रोवाइड की है और लगभग 100 के आसपास हमारे ऑफिसर्स ऑफिशियल्स ड्यूटी पे हैं।
किस तरह बेहाल हुए हम बैठे हुए हैं स्कूल के अंदर। हम चाहते हैं सरकार जल्द से जल्द कोई ठोस कदम उठाए ताकि जो हमारे लोगों के समस्या हैं, बच्चों की एजुकेशन का मसला है, हम चाहते हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी हल करे।
हमारी सबसे पहली समस्या है कि गवर्नमेंट को हमने जो हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स है वो हर बार बताई है, लेकिन आज की ये जो मेन प्रॉब्लम है वो यही है कि गवर्नमेंट इन लोगों को टेंट प्रोवाइड कराए और इमीडिएटली इनको शिफ्ट करे।
This was the third major ceasefire violation in Nowshera this week. In earlier incidents, woman was killed and her husband was injured in the Pakistani firing. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Pakistan is preparing a strategy to forcefully defend its position on the Kulbush and Jadhav case before the International Court of Justice. A Pakistani military court, remember, has sentenced Indian national Jadhav to death on charges of spying. Now, Pakistan's Attorney General Ashtar Osif is expected to represent Pakistan before the International Court of Justice. Reports say that Osif held marathon meetings for the last 2 days with the officials of the Foreign Office and the Pakistan Law Ministry. Now, Pakistan could raise the jurisdiction by citing a case involving India shooting down a Pakistani Navy plane in 1999. It is also likely to contest that the International Court has no jurisdiction over cases involving Pakistan's national stability. Now, the ICJ will hold public hearings in the case on Monday. Remember, Jadhav was sentenced to death last year for alleged espionage.
Pakistan has said that they will not abide by what the International Court of Justice is saying. The sentence, the stay order brought by International Court of Justice, they will not abide by it. The thing is that if Pakistan does it, because 15th May is a hearing, if Pakistan does it, as it is, they are isolated in the entire world. They will be further isolated in the entire world. Only just 2 days back, America also has warned Pakistan that they should restrict they should finish off all the activities what they're carrying on against India.
News from the national capital, and Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal on Saturday directed the authorities to formulate a comprehensive plan to make Delhi mosquito-free. He issued directions at a high-level meeting of officers from the municipal corporations and the Delhi government. The Chief Minister also directed government hospitals to increase the number of beds by 20% to treat patients with fever. The meeting was held to review preparedness to deal with the dengue and chikungunya cases in the coming months. Kejriwal will review the progress of the proposal in a meet in the next 10 to 15 days.
पूरा एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव प्लान बनाने का निर्देश सीएम साहब ने दिया है कि कैसे पूरी दिल्ली को मच्छर युक्त बनाया जाए। अभी प्रिवेंटिव मेथड्स में सीएम साहब ने 3-4 इश्यूज सब अधिकारियों को कहा है कि एक तो पिछले साल जिस तरह से प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स में रेट्स फिक्स किए थे कि कोई भी मरीज़ अगर डेंगू, चिकनगुनिया या इस तरह की कोई डिसीज़ की संभावनाओं के साथ आता है तो प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स एब्सर्ड चार्जेस ना करें, उसके रेट्स फिक्स किए थे पिछले साल, तो उसके रेट्स इस बार फिर से फिक्स किए जाएं।
And what else is happening across the country? Let's find out in Nationwide. The central government on Saturday exempted residents of Jammu and Kashmir, Assam, Meghalaya and citizens above 80 years of age from mandatory quoting of Aadhaar to obtain PAN cards and file income tax returns. In a notification, the Finance Ministry said that the exemption has been given to individuals who did not possess the Aadhaar number or the enrollment ID. The exemption will also apply on non-residents and non-citizens. The hearing on Vijay Mallya's extradition from the UK has been deferred to 13th of June. The Bulletin Crown Prosecution Service will argue on behalf of the Indian authorities when the case comes up for hearing at the Westminster Magistrates Court. The hearing was earlier slated for 1st of May. Kerala Governor Justice retired P. Sathasivam on Saturday asked Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan to take immediate action to end violence and murders in the politically volatile Kannur. The direction came after a 3-member BJP delegation met him at Raj Bhavan and submitted a petition seeking action on the killing of RSS functionary Biju on Thursday. Former Delhi Minister Kapil Mishra mounted a fresh attack on Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, accusing him of using AAP MLAs as a shield. This comes after party legislator Sanjeev Jha announced a hunger strike to counter the rebel leader's ongoing fast. Remember, Kapil Mishra is on a hunger strike since 10th of May. Minister of State for Home Affairs Kiran Rijiju on Saturday unfurled a 107-foot-tall tricolour near the Indo-Pak border at Atari Wagah. After unfurling the flag, the minister also took stock of the security arrangements there. Rijiju will also interact with the traders engaged in import and export business with Pakistan and hear out their trade-related problems. And in news tonight, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we'll tell you about the unprecedented cyber attacks that has wreaked global havoc. Now, India also has been hit hard. That after a very short break. Stay with us.
We have been saving people in terms of accurate forecast and warnings, etc. At present, as you know, that earthquakes cannot be predicted. We are doing a lot of work on that aspect also to understand the earthquake processes in the Indian subcontinent. I personally feel maybe after 20 years or 30 years, there could be some way of predicting earthquakes.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Madhavan Nair Rajivan, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Thanks for staying with us. On to some other news now. Well, nearly 100 countries, including India, were hit by a massive cyber attack that experts said was carried out with the help of a cyber weapon stolen from the US's National Security Agency. Now, the cyber attack was first reported from Sweden, Britain and France. Now, security researchers recorded more than 45,000 attacks in 99 countries, including the UK, Russia, Ukraine, China, Italy, Egypt, as well as India.
A massive cyber attack on Friday targeted a number of organizations across Europe, including Britain's state-run National Health Service and Spain's biggest telecommunications firm. There were reports of infections in 99 countries, including India, Russia and China. Computer systems were infected by cyber criminals with malicious software called ransomware, which locks up computers and demands a ransom to restore access.
This ransomware attack is the biggest known ransomware attack in the history of human mankind. This is for the first time that cyber criminals have been able to orchestrate at an international level such a huge cybercrime campaign that it's already impacted more than 99 nations. And the numbers are still counting on. We still currently do not know yet the extent of damage. What I do distinctly know is that this is the biggest attack that human mankind has seen, and I think this attack needs to propel people and countries into action.
Cybersecurity firm Avast said it had seen 75,000 cases of the ransomware known as WannaCry and variants of that name around the world. Spain's government said a large number of companies, including telecommunications giant Telefonica, had been attacked. While in Britain, hospitals were forced to turn away patients and cancel appointments after the nationwide cyber attack crippled computer systems of NHS.
We're aware that a number of NHS organisations have reported that they have suffered from a ransomware attack. This was not targeted at the NHS. It's an international attack and a number of countries and organisations have been affected. The National Cyber Security Centre is working closely with NHS Digital to ensure that they support the organisations concerned and that they protect patient safety. And we're not aware of any evidence that patient data has been compromised.
The tools for the cyber attack is believed to have been stolen from the US National Security Agency. European Union's law enforcement agency Europol said the attack was at an unprecedented level and that it will require a international investigation to identify the culprits. The G7 nations who are meeting in Italy have agreed to jointly fight cyber attacks on the global financial system. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And finance ministers and central bankers from the group of 7 countries of the G7 nations gathered for a second day in Bari in Italy on Saturday. Now, topping the agenda are issues of facing the world economy, combating terrorist funding, cybersecurity as well as taxes. The ministers will also commit to join forces to fight the growing threat of international cyber attacks, according to a draft statement of the meeting. Now, Britain has emphasized the need for the UK to have a strong voice in international councils and in Brexit negotiations as well. Finance ministers and central bank governors from the United States, Canada, Japan, France, Germany, Italy and Britain are meeting to discuss these issues. Let's get to some more international news. Here is the global buzz. At least 23 people were killed and 11 others injured when a bus carrying a Turkish tourists crashed near the southwestern holiday town of Marmaris. The cause of the accident is unclear at the moment. The accident took place on a hilly road after the bus smashed through a crash barrier. Two young shepherds who had visions of the Virgin Mary 100 years ago in Fatima were declared as saints by Pope Francis. The story of Fatima's shepherd children has captivated Catholics since their first reported vision on 13th of May 1917. The church believes the Madonna gave the children 3 messages, the so-called secrets of Fatima. A senior North Korean diplomat who handles the country's U.S. affairs said on Saturday that Pyongyang would have a dialogue with the U.S. administration if conditions are right. The comments comes in the middle of international efforts to ease tension over North Korea's pursuit of nuclear arms. Palestinians living in Israel-occupied West Bank voted on Saturday in a local election. Months of a political and legal dispute preceded the elections. Around 8 lakh Palestinians were expected to vote for representatives in 145 local councils in the West Bank, but not in the Gaza Strip. However, the election was boycotted by several Palestinian groups. The rare appearance of a tornado shocked people in southwest China's Yunnan province. Excited witnesses quickly took out their phones to record the amazing scene, marking the first video footage of the weather phenomenon. No injuries or property losses have been reported yet. This kind of weather phenomenon is rarely seen inland. The last record of a tornado in the province is way back in 1985. And on to sports. Well, Bajrang Punia clinched India's first gold medal at the Asian Wrestling Championships on Saturday after winning his 65-kilogram freestyle final against Lee Seung-chul of Korea. Now, Punia was trailing 0-2 at the end of the first half, but he made a strong comeback in the second half to win the contest 6-2. However, women wrestler Sarita had to settle for a silver medal after losing her 58-kilogram freestyle final against her Kyrgyzstan opponent. Indian wrestlers have registered their best ever performance in the Asian Championship in this edition with the 7 medals, including 1 gold, 4 silver medals and 2 bronze medals.
देखिए अभी तक 3 दिन का टूर्नामेंट हुआ, अभी तक गोल्ड नहीं आया था किसी का और सभी देशवासी ये चाहते थे कि भाई हमारे देश में हो रहा है तो हमारा फ्लैग भी ऊपर जाए और मैं उसके लिए कि भाई मैं अपनी तरफ से बेस्ट करूंगा और मैं अपने देश को ऊपर लेके जाऊंगा। तो मैं सभी का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं। जो मैंने आज गोल्ड जीता है वो देशवासियों की दुआ और आशीर्वाद से जीता है।
एशिया के अंदर लड़कियों का इतना मेडल आना और लड़कियों और गोल्ड मेडल आना अपने आप में ये बताता है कि भारत को कोई इग्नोर नहीं कर सकता है। भारत जो है सीरियस है इसके लिए।
Well, way to go for the Indian wrestlers, and let's get you some more sporting action in Sports Beat. In a Dominica test between West Indies and Pakistan, the home side were bowled out for 247 runs in their first innings. Roston Chase scored 60 runs, but he had to retire hurt after being struck on the elbow. Pakistan lost an early wicket in the second innings. The visitors had scored 376 runs in their first innings. Rafael Nadal beat Belgian David Goffin 7-6, 6-2 to reach the semi-finals of the Madrid Open. Nadal edged a bruising first set after blowing 8 breakpoints with a top-class tie-break. Nadal will now face Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals. The match between Djokovic and Nadal will be the 50th between the two great rivals who have won a combined 26 Grand Slam titles. In another match, Croatian Borna Koric beat world number 1 Andy Murray in the third round, and Pablo Cuevas of Uruguay beat German Alexander Zverev. Michy Batshuayi's late goal clinched the Premier League title for Chelsea as they beat West Bromwich 1-0. Chelsea was suffering some late nerves as West Brom threatened to prolong the title race, but substitute Batshuayi scored in the 82nd minute. to spark wild celebrations from the Chelsea supporters. The victory puts Chelsea 10 points clear of the second place Tottenham Hotspur. It is the 5th time that the West Londoners won the Premier League. That's it from me and my team in this edition of News Tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.